From 28th to 31st August 2022, over 130 young people from several communities in Yumbe district, including the Bidibidi refugee settlement, convened at Yumbe Secondary School for the Live Your Dream Youth Camp Yumbe.
We are here in Yumbe for the Live Your Dream Youth Camp 2022, Yumbe district. And the youth camp started yesterday with the arrival and registration of participants, and this included young mothers, young fathers.
We are here in Yumbe SS. We are having our training, and I am happy because of training.
This youth camp is very important, not only to the youths or the adolescents, but also to the stakeholders, because they really will have an input into how we can get to address the issues like the teenage pregnancy. Because for us to come to handle or address these issues, it is a collective responsibility.
The Live Your Dream Youth Camp Yumbe was organized by the Uganda Youth and Adolescents Health Forum and the Yumbe District Local Government in partnership with BRAC Uganda and with support from UNFPA.
I want to thank you, the Yumbe District Local Government, in a partnership with the Uganda Youth and Adolescents Health Forum, BRAC Uganda, and UNFPA for putting hands together to organize such an important event that greatly benefits our young boys and girls.
The camp was held under the theme, Leaving No Young Person Behind, positioning young people in the fight for gender equality, sexual reproductive health rights, life skills enhancement, and substance abuse mitigation. It aimed at providing a platform for young people across the district, especially in rural and vulnerable communities, to stand up and speak against all forms of violence against women and girls, oppression, discrimination, and the negative stereotypes which undermine their rights and expose them to teenage pregnancies, child marriages, sexual and gender-based violence, complications related to childbirth, school dropout, among other challenges.
Yumbe is amongst the district which are having high rate of teenage pregnancies in the district, in the country. We also have a challenge of high rate of drug abuse. Actually, this one is one of the huge challenges because out of 10 young people you find in a trading center, you will get 7 chewing marunji. This has affected the participation of the youth. One, they go home late. 2, they wake up late and they don't work.
The challenges that young ladies, young girls and boys in the settlement that we face. For example, we have challenges of gender-based violences, which actually lead into early marriages, into teenage pregnancies. And then we have also teenage pregnancy as a problem itself, which is brought up by so many reasons in the camp. People in South Sudan back, they lost their things, and for this, you find that a mother is either a parent is not capable enough to provide for the child, and in that struggle, you find that a child is struggling hard to see that he or she can survive. And as a result, they end up in early marriages, teenage pregnancies, and the rest.
Access is still a challenge for our young ones. They cannot access the time they need. And also commodities and supplies is a challenge. Sometimes they go, they don't have methods of interest, especially family planning. Sometimes the drugs are out of stock. You send them to buy, they will not buy.
The camp brought together young fathers, young mothers, adolescent girls and boys in and out of school, young people with disabilities, pregnant teenage girls, peer educators, and youth leaders. Through the 4 days event, the young people were taught on a series of educative topics including teenage pregnancy, HIV and AIDS, child marriages, challenging key barriers and enhancing access to sexual reproductive health rights services, body changes during puberty, menstrual hygiene, health and sanitation, young people as agents for eliminating sexual gender-based violence, substance abuse mitigation, enhancing young people's employability, business startup and management, and understanding available government opportunities. The camp was officially opened by the State Minister for Defense and Veteran Affairs, Honorable Hajaru Abbasun, who called upon the young people to fully participate in all the camp's activities so that they can learn and become ambassadors in their respective communities.
Today the camp was officially opened by the State Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs, Minister Honorable Oleru Huda, who welcomed the participants and welcomed the stakeholders that have been part of the planning processes of this youth camp.
As we all know, the young people are our leaders for tomorrow. I urge young people present here today to listen and learn from this program and transfer the knowledge to those ones who haven't been able to attend this program. Yumbe district has been highlighted as the district with the highest number of teenager pregnancies between the ages of 14 and 18. Most of these girls have given up their dream of becoming who they want to be and may never return to school. This means that their future is dark. And because they have no generating activity, which leads to vicious cycle of poverty. The programs and the youth camp like this are really important for the young people to have an opportunity to learn some of the skills for the economic transformation.
This was followed by a series of presentations on topics like understanding key drivers for teenage pregnancies, child marriages, and strategies that young people can use to challenge these key barriers, drug and substance abuse and addiction, and engaging young people in the fight for HIV-free generation.
I feel so enthusiastic because a lot of things I've learned today, especially when our minister came in the morning, RDCs, when they all came in the morning, they gave a lot of issues to us. But when it came to the sessions, especially when we were talking about the drug abuse, how to remove or the solutions to stop the drug abuse, as well as teenage pregnancy, early marriages, the challenges we are facing, what exactly is making our own people getting involved in all of these activities, yet we are supposed to generate our own lives.
Then they teach us about how to protect ourselves from HIV positive. Maybe if your partner has HIV, maybe your friend, how can you advise him or her what to do?
This being the first day and it is good, I expect the best. I expect more knowledge in the remaining days.
On the second day, the young people were taken through a session on working with young people as agents and champions for eliminating sexual gender-based violence. During the session, the participants were split into groups in which they discussed the key drivers of SGBV, the prevention and response measures, and their role in addressing the practice.
I facilitated the sessions on substance and drug abuse. When you look at the community here, a great number of the young people, especially the youth, indulge in drugs and substance abuse. So I facilitated that session jointly with my other partners in the different departments. We had TPO who facilitated the session of the effects, the health effects, how drugs and substance abuse affects their mental health, and also the psychological bit of it. And then also we had community liaison officer who took them through the legal consequences of substance abuse. The common one here, we have Maironji. And then there are those local ones, like I heard about snake skin, goro, opium. And when they are consuming this, even the adults, the elders, the parents do engage in consumption of these drugs.
During group discussions, we have discussed drug abuse, the dangers. Then if someone maybe has drink alcohol, the way that person can behave. We have learned those things. Then so interested, people laughed just like that.
The young people, led by the Yumbe District Youth Chairperson, participated in a community outreach where they cleaned Yumbe Health Center for.
We have actually been crying for the youth to be part of us and involving them in some few things. We have varieties of activities which took place today. One, we have the general compound cleanness, which the young people have been supporting in. We have our theatre, that is operation theatre. They cleaned it. We have our general ward where they also scrapped inside.
This community outreach is showing to the community that the youth are very important and reaching out the community to give back to the community. Actually, the young people are giving back to the community.
The day was closed with a presentation on enhancing young people's employability, business startup and management, and entrepreneurships and skills development.
Today at the youth camp, what I facilitated was all about leadership, personal branding, and job seeking. So for this session, it was all about me sharing to the youth what personal branding is, how do they build their brand as people, as young people in the communities, how do they show up. You should be known for something, and that something should be something good, not something negative. And it's so important for the youth because bringing it back to the job seeking and leadership, you can't be a leader when you have all that negative reputation.
On the third day, the campus started with the vigorous morning aerobics to gear them up for the day.
And this morning, I really feel very, very happy for this exercise of today. The exercise that we are doing has done a lot to me. My muscles are very strong and even my bones are very strong. I can able to run very fast.
It has made me now to refresh my mind.
This was followed by an interesting session on the topic growing up, transitioning from childhood to adulthood, body changes, puberty, menstrual health, sanitation and hygiene. This was then followed by another presentation on understanding available government opportunities. On the same day, two representatives of the young people and the youth chairperson also attended a radio talk show on 91.7 Ribat FM, where they shared what they are learning during the camp and also how they are going to change their communities with the knowledge they gain from the youth camp.
These are youths, by the way. Yeah, these are youths, and of course, we have a youth camp actually that is organized in Yumbe Secondary School. Probably we'll be looking into more of these things that actually.
Sometimes the community tends to take the youths as, let me say, they look at us like we can't make sense. But from the learning I've got, I believe we can make change. Yes, so I can sit with my fellow youths, tell them our rights as youths, and then I can still guide them on what to do, like what we did today, and I believe we can still do it.
I am okay.
Later in the night, the campers also held a fireside chat during which they shared experiences on various issues around sexual reproductive health, including myths and misconceptions on family planning, real-life experiences on SGBV and cultural influence, and dealing with drug abuse in the community, among others.
I have 5 children. Those 5 children that I have, 3 I got them, we actually got them, not me alone.
You have not the point.
We got them year after year. And that was the reason why we went for family planning. The midwife talked to us about the types of, the methods of family planning. I am really very, very happy. I know because I was doing those things unknowingly. Now that we set medical advice, and I also add more in this youth camp here, I'm going to take my time to also talk to them about family planning, plus those other things.
Then when the other one has reached 3 years, now she wanted to conceive, nothing. Now I failed to give her an advice. The only thing I told her, let her go to health center, then the nurses will help her. That even she went there for several times, but she was not getting a clear advice.
They closed up the day with a talent show where they showcased their extraordinary skills in dancing, miming, acting, poems, traditional folk songs and radios, and the outstanding performers were given presents during the closing ceremony of the camp.
Teenage pregnant, teenage pregnant, teenage pregnant. We are tired of you. You made the voice of women and girls to be hidden in the communities, families, and public life. We say no to teenage pregnant. As the teenagers, please, partners, let's join hands and implement teenage pregnant dance.
The Live Your Dream Youth Camp Yumbe was also blended with a number of fun activities like indoor and outdoor sports and team building exercises. The young people were extremely excited about the youth camp and vowed to use the knowledge they had gained to teach their colleagues and transform their respective communities.
The youth were able to share ideas, get new knowledge, and I want to also appreciate the young people who are in the house here. You are going to be messengers to disseminate the message we have got from these sessions we are having.
In this training, we learn something like GBV cases, drug abuse, family planning, HIV, and I'm happy for that.
I learned about adolescents, child abusing, early marriage.
The camp has been so exciting. The sessions that I've got and the skills, the knowledge I've acquired, it is really good. I really enjoyed the aerobics because they was very fun. They had a lot of fun, and even the session about the GBV was also good for me because it is the main issue that is very difficult in the community there, that is very disturbing with the people. And now that I've got the information, the people now we are going to see how we are going to settle the issues in the community.
When I go back to the community, I must make sure that there is going to be a change with our communities. We are going to work as a volunteer to know that these attitudes and bad cultures should be stopped and stop the early marriage of child.
I have got knowledge. I even believe that when you go back there with the mothers I came with, the young mothers, we shall make a change because we have learned how to go with the things of early marriages. We have learned how to control it, what to do about it, and therefore I believe by the time we go back, we shall do a change in our communities and in our homes.
For sure, we have obtained a lot of knowledge, and personally I will also say that if at all we could also continue to move like 1 week or just 1 month, so that we see a lot of issues before we move to our homes, everything will be better.